Hi, I'm Charles Buckman, and we are pre-recording this interview with Varnell-Sarjent, candidate for Colorado Senate District 30, Senator from the office of the Douglas County Democratic Party. The recording is intended for use by the Colorado Democratic Party Energy and Environmental Initiative Day of Action on September 8th, 2018, representing a petition to declare the climate emergency as part of the nationwide action for rising climate, jobs, and justice. We are asking our candidates to sign and support the petition at www.theclimatemobilization.org/co-climate-emergency. Declare climate emergency, commit to reaching zero emissions at emergency speed, and advocate for other cities, states, and U.S. government to join Colorado in an emergency mobilization to create a just green economy. We have Julia here, and we'd like her to introduce herself and tell us about how the climate emergency is affecting Colorado Senate District 30.
Hi, I'm Dr. Julia Varnell-Sarjent, and I am running for State Senate District 30, that's Northern Douglas County, because good government starts at home. And good government means defending our environment via state legislation. The climate emergency affects Senate District 30 in a number of ways. First, we are seeing more frequent and violent hailstorms. We've seen more heat than we used to see in the past, and a lot more use of air conditioning could lead to brownouts. We also are in the middle of a drought. In fact, I've heard that some Highlands Ranch residents had a 6-fold increase in their water bills this last year.
Do you disagree with property owners that frack their land claims ending fracking infringes on their property rights?
I do not believe that limiting fracking infringes on your property rights. There's precedent to limit what you can do if it affects your neighbors and your community. For example, you're not allowed to have a landfill on your property, and if you have too much thistle, they're going to come and tell you to take care of it. Fracking affects your neighbors and community as well. First, there is the noise that creating the fracking sites creates, and then the noise as it's continuing. Fracking releases methane and benzene into the air, and benzene is a carcinogenic product. Fracking can affect your groundwater with both benzene and hydrochloric acid getting into it. Fracking can lead to toxic spills, and other types of oil and wells have led to explosions. And finally, there's good evidence that fracking can lead to earthquakes. We see what has been happening in Oklahoma, where they have started having more and more serious earthquakes. And we saw recently an earthquake up in Battlement Mesa that was attributed to fracking.
What can happen if the national energy grid is hacked?
So our federal grid is interconnected. You can remember several years ago when a brownout started in a small town in New England and wound up taking down almost all of New England in a power outage. The Russians have already penetrated our power grid. If they chose to plant a virus into our grid, it would travel fast throughout the entire United States. We need the ability to disconnect from the federal grid if necessary. If we have renewables throughout the state of Colorado, we could create community mini-grids that would help us disconnect should an emergency occur on our federal grid.
Thank you, Julia.
Is it off?
It's working on it.